Officials in China's Hubei replaced after surge in deaths and criticism of provincial government's handling of outbreak. China on Thursday removed the top political leadership in Hubei, the province at the center of the escalating coronavirus outbreak, shortly after health officials there reported 242 people died from the virus on Wednesday, more than twice the number of the previous day and the highest daily toll since the outbreak began. The province and its capital Wuhan, where the infection now known as COVID-19 is thought to have originated in late December, also reported more than 14,800 new cases of the infection after adopting new clinical methods to diagnose the virus. The number of infected across China rose to nearly 60,000. At least 25 countries have confirmed cases and several nations have evacuated their citizens from Hubei. 2 deaths have been recorded outside mainland China, 1 in Hong Kong and 1 in the Philippines. The World Health Organization (WHO) has warned the virus poses a grave threat to the world, with Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus saying the virus could have more powerful consequences than any terrorist action. Here are the latest updates. Thursday, February 13, North Korea imposes quarantine measures on all foreign visitors. North Korea will impose a month-long quarantine on all foreign visitors and others suspected to have COVID-19, the official Korean Central News Agency said on Thursday. The decision to extend the quarantine period to 30 days was based on research studies suggesting the incubation period of the virus could be as long as 24 days. The report did not confirm the country's previous quarantine period, but the Russian embassy in Pyongyang said in a Facebook post earlier this month that North Korea was putting foreign visitors under a 15-day quarantine. North Korea has yet to report a case of the virus, but state media reports have hinted that an uncertain number of people have been quarantined after showing symptoms. China replaces head of its Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office. China is replacing the head of its office that oversees matters in Hong Kong, the Human Resources Ministry announced in Beijing on Thursday. Xia Baolong, a 67-year-old vice chairman of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference (CPPCC), will replace Zhang Xiaoming. Communist Party chief in Wuhan replaced. State media Ma Guojiang, the party chief in Hubei's capital Wuhan, has been fired, the state-run Global Times reported. The paper said the removal of the provincial bosses amid complaints over their handling of the outbreak showed the central government was responding swiftly to the crisis. Singapore official warns more coronavirus cases likely. An official in Singapore official said the number of infections in the city-state was likely to rise because the virus was clearly circulating within the population. We really cannot say whether it will get better, whether it will get worse, what sort of situation is going to unfold, Lawrence Wong, a co-chairman of Singapore's task force fighting the outbreak, said. We don't know how successful we will be in all of these containment measures that we have put in place. Wong said additional measures could involve social distancing in order to try and reduce the chance of the virus spreading further. Singapore has reported 50 confirmed cases. 8 people are in critical condition, while 15 have fully recovered. China's Hubei Province Communist Party chief relieved of duty, state media Zhang Kaoliang, the head of the Communist Party in the Chinese province of Hubei, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak, has been relieved of his duties, state media reported on Thursday. Shanghai Mayor Ying Yang has been appointed as the new secretary of the Hubei Provincial Committee of the Communist Party of China, the report said, citing the party's central committee. 44 more coronavirus cases on Japan ship. Health minister. A further 44 people on board a cruise ship moored off Japan's coast have tested positive for the novel coronavirus, the country's health minister said on Thursday. Health Minister Katsunobu Kato said the 44 new cases were detected from another 221 new tests. They raised the number of infections detected on the Diamond Princess to 218, in addition to a quarantine officer who also tested positive for the virus. Tokyo, IOC officials reiterate that the Olympics are on. Tokyo Olympic organizers reiterated on Thursday at the start of 2 days of meetings with the International Olympic Committee, the Summer Games will not be waylaid by the coronavirus that is spreading from neighboring China. I would like to make it clear again that we are not considering a cancellation or postponement of the Games. "Let me make that clear," Yoshiro Mori, the president of the organizing committee, said, speaking through an interpreter to dozens of top IOC officials gathered in Tokyo. The Olympics open in just over 5 months, and the torch relay begins next month. Numerous sporting events have already been postponed as a result of the virus. Seriously ill pushed to margins as China battles coronavirus. Ru Yiwan was diagnosed with leukemia last May and was hoping for a bone marrow transplant after chemotherapy failed. But as medical resources are funneled into fighting the coronavirus, the 20-year-old has been unable to get treatment in Wuhan and cannot go elsewhere because of the travel restrictions. With a serious illness, she is also more vulnerable to the infection. "I hope for a miracle because Ruyi is so young and has so many dreams," her mother Wan told Al Jazeera. "We can't let her die." U.S. Airlines extend China flight cancellations into late April. United Airlines said late on Wednesday it would extend cancellations of all U.S. flights to China until late April because of the coronavirus, joining other U.S. carriers that have suspended China routes. Airlines say part of the reason is a dramatic drop-off in demand, but the U.S. has also introduced strict restrictions on travelers to the United States who have visited China, barring nearly all non-U.S. residents if they have been in China within the previous 14 days. The U.S. is also limiting flights from China or other international flights with U.S. passengers who have been to China within the previous 14 days to 11 major airports for enhanced screening. It also requires a quarantine of U.S. citizens who have recently visited Hubei province in China. CDC confirms 14th U.S. case of coronavirus in Wuhan. Evacuee. A second person evacuated from Wuhan to a U.S. military base near San Diego has been diagnosed with the new coronavirus, raising the tally of confirmed cases in the United States to 14, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) said on Wednesday. The patient was among 232 people under quarantine at the Marine Corps Air Station Miramar after being airlifted out of Wuhan earlier this month, CDC spokeswoman Anna Toro said. Another evacuee was diagnosed with the virus earlier this week, but CDC officials said it appeared the two had been separately exposed to the virus in China before arriving in the United States. They arrived on different planes and were housed in separate facilities. At this time there is no indication of person-to-person spread of this virus at the quarantine facility, but CDC will carry out a thorough contact investigation as part of its current response strategy to detect and contain any cases of infection with this virus. Dr. Christopher Braden, deputy director of the CDC's National Center for Emerging and Zoonotic Infectious Diseases, said in a statement. Cruise ship shunned over coronavirus fears arrives in Cambodia. Ship Tracker. A cruise ship which had spent 2 weeks at sea after being turned away by 5 countries over fears that someone on board might have the coronavirus arrived in Cambodia on Thursday, satellite tracking data showed. The MS Westerdam arrived in Sihanoukville, according to data published by the Marine Traffic website. Although no passengers have fallen ill on board, the ship had been turned away by Japan, Taiwan, Guam, the Philippines and Thailand over fears that someone on the cruise could have the virus. UK confirms new case. First in London. The UK has confirmed its 9th case of coronavirus, saying the latest patient, the first in London, had caught the virus while in China. One further patient in England has tested positive for the novel coronavirus COVID-19, bringing the total number of cases in the UK to 9, Chris Whitty, Chief Medical Officer for England said in a statement. This virus was passed on in China and the patient has now been transferred to a specialist NHS centre at Guy's and St Thomas's in London. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and please click on the bell so you'll be updated on my next video. Thank you. WeCare for UPH. Your health comes first.